Welcome. My name is Tanya Harris, and welcome to Purpose, Passion, and Prosperity. Are you ready? Are you ready for your breakthrough? Let's see. I have today Miss Melissa A. Johnson, Missy for short, the chosen one for short. She's a beast. Let me read a little bit about her so that you guys can know who we dealing with here. So you guys can know who we dealing with here, okay? We're dealing with Melissa A. Johnson, a native Washingtonian. Woohoo! Is a devoted servant leader, embracing her roles as a mother, a grandmother, and a spiritual guide. With over 25 years of federal experience, she currently serves as a deputy director and diversity inclusion coordinator at NOAA Fisheries Office for their equal opportunity and diversity. Beyond her professional accomplishments, Melissa is an ordained evangelist, faith-based minister, and the founder of MJM Global LLC, a ministry organization focused on supporting women and their families. Melissa's versatile skill sets extends to her roles as a mediator, an MBTI facilitator, a John C. Maxwell coach. As a certified EEO specialist with additional certifications in diversity, equity, and inclusion, she brings a wealth of expertise to her community, advocacy, and civil service. In addition to her impactful professional journey, Melissa is a published author sharing her insights on self-discovery and the personal awakening in her book, Awakening to Me, Discovering the Path Back to You. That's what we get ready to discover, the path back to you. Hey, Melissa.
Hey, Tanya.
How you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate you as always. So, you know how I always start off. I'm going to ask you some things just so people can get to know who you are.
Okay.
We've just had a Capricorn here. We just have a Pisces. So now I'm looking to see, I guess, another Capricorn, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Tell me again, January?
January 7th.
January 7th. Okay, so it was the 6th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what is it you've been doing since I've last spoken to you? Tell me, I've heard that you've been to Africa, to East Jablib, to, all these different places. Tell me what you've been doing since
So much has transpired, I think, since the last time we sat down and talked. Actually, I was reflecting this morning and looking back. It's almost 1 year to the day of my son's anniversary date from his murder. And so just looking back over the past year and how fast it's gone by, but how much transformation has occurred in my life is just unbelievable. So it's just one day at a time,
One day at a time.
Work, self-preservation, allowing myself to trust God through the process of healing and wholeness. Yes, I've been to Zimbabwe on a missions trip that was life-changing. And I've really just been in a place of peace, trying to stay out of my way and out of everybody else's way.
I received that 100%, 100%. What I'd like you to share with the people, exactly who is Melissa Johnson?
I saw that question on the pre-read and try to think of a lot of different ways I can answer it, but I guess I would answer it in a way of the things that I feel like are most important to me. And so being a mother, being a grandmother, being a servant leader, being a native Washingtonian, hailing from the neighborhood Trinidad, not the country. I'm a woman, flawed, blessed, highly favored of the Lord. Intuitive and self-aware, and still finding my way on the journey. And I'm a person that has so much gratitude. Like, I'm so grateful in spite of all of the things that's happened to me in my life, or I've experienced and still have yet to experience. I have so much gratitude and appreciation for all that is my life.
That is so cool. So on this journey, especially exactly what day did your son get?
February the 22nd of last year, 2023.
So Thursday will be 1 year. Yeah. And that you can sit here and say you have peace is a blessing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Amen.
Do you think you're living in your purpose?
Yes, I think I am. Even if it's not fully manifested, I believe the journey, the ups and the downs, is on purpose. And I don't think it's like one big crescendo at the end of it. And I think every bump in the road, every opportunity you get to smile, to laugh, to cry, to discover a new nuance about yourself, to challenge a fear or to overcome something, all of that to me is living on purpose. I don't know if purpose is an outward destination or more of an inward awakening.
I think it's the latter.
Yes.
I think it's and in your so you clearly do a lot of reflection and self-discovery. Tell me what's different from the Melissa of last year to the Melissa of today.
I guess I have the testimony of at my core, I'm good. Like it didn't break me. So at my core, whoever I was on February the 22nd last year, she's good. And so I'm different in that way, and I'm different in the way that I have a testimony. I love the Lord, not a perfect person, but I strive to live a life that's pleasing before God and try not to cause any harm to anybody else. But I know what it feels like to be held in the grace of God when something could have literally caused you to lose your mind, to break down. Because again, my son's death or murder was compounded in that sitting before you is a person who has buried their mother, their father, their sister, their brother, their grandmother, their great grandmother, their aunts, their uncles, their cousins. And so the grief is compounding, and to have this happen as well too, and still be standing in the grace of God. And so that's an added nuance to who I am today, different than who I was last year. That I don't know, I just have this testimony. I'm a person who journals, and so I look back over my journals from last year, and I said this quote. And I didn't realize I've been saying this quote even before the incident happened. When God is your God. And that's just my testimony. Like, okay, bring it on. When God is your God, you'll get through. It's going to hurt. It's going to be difficult. You may come back, with some bruises or have some evidence of what you've been through. But when God is your God, you'll be okay.
I received that. Do you mind, and if it's too painful, don't, but if you do, you mind sharing, like, for people who don't know what happened? And you also have, from that experience, you've decided to do some work around that.
Yeah, I guess just in short is on February the 22nd of 2023 at Tyson's Corner Mall, my son, Timothy Johnson, was shot and murdered by a former Fairfax County police officer for allegedly stealing sunglasses from the Nordstrom's department store. And from that time to now, it's just been unprecedented in Fairfax County to have an officer be fired from his position, to have the grand jury come back with no indictment, but to have the prosecuting attorney's office put forth a special grand jury, and the officer has been indicted, and we're set to go to trial September the 16th of this year. In the short amount of time that this has occurred, it's just unprecedented for Fairfax County. And so I know that this is not just about my son. The judicial system in America, and including in Fairfax County, has just not been equitable for Black and brown people. And so my son was unarmed, and so for him to be shot down in the woods like an animal for some sunglasses that Nordstrom's can write off by loss prevention. And so this is just bigger than my son. This is bigger than any hurt or grief or anything that I have to go through. And so we'll continue to have a voice and add our voice to making sure that people get treated fairly. And one bad apple, it does not equate or does not tarnish the reputation of all. You know, not mad at the police, not mad at the officer, not angry at anybody. But right is right and wrong is wrong. So
I received that. In reflecting on all of this, have you found that, because you've said it is bigger than your son and everything else, have you found that maybe in some kind of indirect way, this has pushed you even closer to what God has you here to do?
I don't know. I can't even honestly say that for sure because I'm so sensitive to either what I'm supposed to be doing or what I'm not supposed to be doing. And I know it's easy to just go get a foundation and say, this is what we're doing. And, you know, but I don't know. I'm just careful to just see what opportunities present themselves before me, if that makes sense. And
Yes.
what I'm supposed to do, I'll be led or guided to do. And I'm not looking to do anything that I'm not supposed to be doing. And so if an opportunity presents itself for me to speak or for me to be encouraging towards someone, to speak about grief and healing and wholeness, then I avail myself to that. But I think I'm still discovering what my purpose is and what a destination point is in this journey. And along the way, I'm still healing. This has been traumatic. And I'm slow walking this out. I've never been this way before. And so self-care, therapy, taking sabbaticals, self-love, you know, all of that kind of stuff I think is just invaluable to just give yourself grace to walk through whatever it is you have to go through.
Grace. I received that. How do you know when you're being led?
One way is if I try to do something and I do get resistance, like I need to call the second person that the first person didn't give me away, or, you know, I need to go a roundabout way. That's Melissa trying to do something. But to me, it seems like when it's divine and spiritual in nature, like I couldn't even have planned it or orchestrated it. It just happened and it was so effortlessly. Like, you know, like to get this call from you out the blue. Who knows what door this is going to pop wide open for me.
Right.
I didn't raise my hand or volunteer for anything. So that's one of the ways I can determine. When you're trying to force something, it's probably not God's will for your life.
I received that. When, I guess my next thought is, you know, you're very grounded in your thoughts about how you should move. And a lot of people aren't. A lot of people live life just existing. So for you, what would you give the person advice about how to be their journey to self-discovery? Because you've said a lot of things, journaling, self-care, but if you had to give a mantra of someone, how they can start on that path, what would you suggest?
Just go within. The answer to it is not going to be external. The answer to it is not going to be found or modeled in anybody else's journey. You just have to go within and look at yourself like an honest self-reflection of what has been your life, I believe. What has happened to you? What are some of the consequences you've had to face? What are some of the challenges that you've had to overcome? You know, what's your station in life? Where are you? What kind of energy do you show up in? What kind of person are you at your core? Go inside internally and find the path there. And I believe that that path will help you lead to what you're supposed to be doing.
I received that. Do you believe, or would you agree, that your outside world reflects your inner world?
Me personally?
Yes, you first, and then in general.
Mine, no, because in the inside, I feel like I'm the beast. Like you said, like I'm powerful, I'm the bomb.com. And I feel like externally, I still have growing to do. I still have maturation to get through. And so I don't think I've yet to reach the full potential of who I'm supposed to be in this earth. And so I don't think it matches.
So I've heard oftentimes it doesn't seem to match. But do you think we have to be first for it to match?
I think being is part of the discovery to getting there,
Okay.
you know. And so I think who I am on the inside matches my atmosphere, matches who I am at my core, the work that I've done in the inside, the way I've handled challenges and setbacks and still persevered in the face of everything I've had to go through. It shows up in my atmosphere. Like it matches who I am in my energy. It matches who I am in my spirit, my character. Maybe it has not translated into wealth prosperity or financial prosperity, but I'm rich in spirit. I am rich in peace. I am rich in wisdom. I'm rich foundationally in that I'm going to be all right. I'll get through it, you know. So
I get that. What are you passionate about?
I am passionate about my family, my children, my grandchildren, those people that I love. I'm passionate about serving God, making sure that I walk in a way that my heart is clean, that my hands are clean, my heart is pure, and my hands are clean. I'm passionate about walking out my life in a way that I do reach my full potential. I think it was Dr. Miles Monroe that speaks about
like him.
dying empty. You know, I want to live out everything and go out of here empty at like 107 years old.
I got you. I got you. How do you know when your heart is pure?
I think when you can cry, when you can be vulnerable, when you can be transparent, when you can repent, you know, when you can ask for forgiveness. So I don't know. Those are some of the
Things
I think, yeah.
that you feel. Okay. So we're talking about passion. Do you think that passion plays a role in what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do?
I think it does to people who care about passion. That's just like integrity. Integrity is not an antidote for success, but integrity is a key antidote, I believe, for people who maintain their success, and so I think passionate people are successful people, but I can be passionate and still not heal from trauma or still not heal from some of the things that I need to heal from. And it may not mirror or look like somebody else, but I think passion is very, very important.
How important is being authentic?
150% important. I think you have to be your true self. Why would you want to be anybody else than your authentic self? But I think that's not an easy thing to attain either.
Oftentimes people wanting to be authentic are so afraid of what other people might think of their authenticity. And so I guess what my question is that, was there ever a time you cared what people thought?
I'm sure there probably was. And I just think the older you get and the more maybe wisdom you get, you just tend to appreciate life and really just don't care. Not to the point that it's not valuable how you show up, but that you're okay being okay with yourself. So,
have you ever been a people pleaser?
I'm sure I probably have. You know, just growing up, you know, being African American, being Black, growing up in the DMV area, growing up in a family nucleus that was dysfunctional, without a male role model and just trying to navigate the nuances of, growing up in the DC area and trying to find love and trying to find some identity. Absolutely, I'm sure I had an element of people pleasing, just trying to find myself.
Since you bring up love, what does love look like to you from being a young girl and as you've evolved to who you are today? Does love look different, truly different, or are you still looking for the same things that you feel you never received maybe?
That's a good question. I'm sure love looks different. My 14, 15, even 19-year-old eyes and perspective probably couldn't understand the magnitude and all the complications that come with saying you love someone. And so I think now I have a broader perspective and the responsibility that comes with loving someone, the commitment, the dedication, the accountability that love calls for. If you choose to love someone, you love them when they hurt you, you love them when they don't love you, and so it is a stark difference. And I believe I need to be a representative of what I want as well too. In order for me to get that back, I have to love.
I received that. Do you feel like, so you're not married, ma'am, right?
No, I'm divorced. I'm
okay.
not married.
So do you feel like you want to find be married again?
Yes, absolutely. I want to be married again.
No question about it.
No question. I am a wife, not by title, by who I am.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
And I just like to ask this. Do you think you'll know him when he presents himself?
That's my prayer, that I'll know him, because I'm sure I've passed some hymns up before and not knowing. So my 57-year-old mature self says, Lord, don't let me let him go by this time.
Please, Lord.
Don't let me let him get away. So I pray that I will recognize him and that, some of the fluff is out of the way. Like there's a saying that says, if in your immature state, and I'm doing a lot of paraphrasing, but in your immature state, if you were to make a list of the things that you want, that list would be so superficial. But if you give yourself some time and some maturity and some wisdom and you make a list, that list would be totally different from what you think you want or what you thought you wanted. And so now some of the core maybe qualities that I am looking for in a purpose partner versus just a companion is totally different.
And so when I hear you say a purpose partner, does that mean to you that you can navigate differently when you in that purpose? Because let me just use myself for example. I have this thing about living in a fantasy world. Like, I'm such a hopeless romantic. Lord help me. So I've said to God, I don't really have a list. My only list is that you know me better than I know myself.
Absolutely.
So whoever you bring into my life, let me be able to see it and know.
Amen.
Because other than that, you know how we all have, like you mentioned, we have the list, right? And the list is just a list, right? And then sometimes on the list, what you thought you wanted, you didn't really want, right?
Exactly.
So I guess my real question is that if that person comes in a package that you're not used to, what do you think you think you'll be? Because oftentimes we get in this habit. Right? So,
well, I pray my heart now is ready. I've done a lot of work on myself. I've had a lot of, I've had a lot of maturing and had to make some difficult decisions about, and being able to be comfortable with saying that this works for me and this doesn't work for me, and let go of a relationship for a person that I really, really loved. And so when I say purpose partner, I'm a collaborative, and I think that you are too. Like, I love collaboration. And I believe you just got to know yourself. And I don't think that there is, I mean, it's just my belief that two are far better than one. Like, if two people come together, no matter what the package is, flaws and brokenness and all, and you put the Lord first, there is nothing you cannot accomplish or achieve together. And so, and I believe that there's just a higher level that a couple on one accord can walk into in purpose than maybe someone singular or single can still get that, but it's just on a whole nother level. And so, I don't know, that's what I yearn for, if you will, that purposeful collaborative that we're both, not saying we both have to be in ministry or we both have to, just say, oh, we're serving the Lord or anything like that, but we are working together to serve and to do good and to build and to help. That type of collaboration where you can take an idea and make it manifest into something that helps someone else. That's what I yearn for.
That's a beautiful relationship, it appears to me. What will Missy look like in 5 years from now?
I have no idea. I am just now starting to wrap my mind around my 5-year plan. I am just not the best planner. And so that's my still area that I'm having to grow up in. But in 5 years, I'm eligible to retire. I'll have the age and I have the years. And so that's as far as 5 years I've gotten, and I'm in therapy. And so my therapist tries to get me to do that self-actuation, to see myself. If I want to be a motivational speaker, see myself on a stage, if I want to travel the world and have a global ministry and, be in countries and ministering and praying for people, see myself there. And so I'm learning how to say affirmations and to set mantras to let that little girl, Melissa, know that you are deserving, you are enough, and that is your purpose and your destiny, and you can achieve it. Just keep on walking after it. So I really don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years, but whole and healed and healthy, and prayerfully, if this is the foundation that 5-year Melissa is building upon, it's going to be good.
I got it. You have mentioned therapy twice. Let's talk about therapy, because, a lot of people, it's getting better, but still a lot of people have a negative connotation when it comes to therapy. What, first of all, made you decide that I need therapy? And then how long? First, let's start there. What first made you decide that you needed therapy?
I think I've been in therapy probably on and off since my 20s or 30s.
Okay.
Just going for wellness checks or because of family dysfunction or childhood trauma, just going to therapy, knowing that, okay, you need to go get some help or you should go talk to somebody. And then it's a part of the benefits on my job that you can go through the employee assistance program.
That's very cool.
And so with all the deaths that I've had in my family, with adopting my sister's 2 children and raising them and, being divorced and just all of that, I've just been a person that don't mind going to check in for therapy, because I've had bouts with depression or being overwhelmed or having bouts with anxiety. And so this last time I've been consistently in therapy, probably right since 2019, right before COVID. That was a big thrust. And I had a lot of life events that occurred as well in 2019. And so consistently, and I believe that prepared me to walk through the grief that I had to walk through as well, too. And so I adore my therapist.
Okay.
I see her as often as I can.
Right. I guess it's really nice to have someone who can give you an objective opinion, right? Doesn't doesn't judge you and ask you to take action and make change. I think
And I
that's
had several, so you have to find one that fits you, and fits the season that you're in. I will say
the
this:
season.
this last time when she and I started working together, normally I can analyze myself, and I'm the best patient, and I know my diagnosis and all that kind of stuff. I went in open-minded this time, and I just said, I don't know what's wrong with me. And we talking about or being organic and authentic, and just let the conversation and the therapeutic value and those things that will come out of it just happen the way they were supposed to happen. And it has been the best therapeutic journey that I've been on, by not going in saying, well, this is what's wrong, or there what's wrong, or any of that kind of stuff. Just saying, I really just don't even know what's wrong.
So when you let go, it's really been and been in the flow. It's really been a whole different healing,
It has.
right?
It really, really has. It's been a whole different healing journey. I mean, talking about, and I think we might have talked about this the last time, about the little girl,
Yes.
who does not need to go back and revisit the little girl to see how adult Melissa is parenting the little girl that maybe didn't get the parenting that she needed, or didn't get the love that she needed, or to deal with and address any abandonment or rejection issues. And so the journey of finding adult tools to deal with the little girl when she shows up, because I can have the biggest temper tantrum. I will sit down and my bottom lip is poking out and everything. And I had to learn that body language. I had to learn how to, control or watch those emotions. And I'm still learning how to do that. Like, don't let the little girl run wild, and then you get the bill in the mail because you've been shopping, or you've been overeating, or any of the other addictive behaviors.
Right.
Find a way to have a conversation with her. Find a way to love her and nurture her, and work with her and let her know she is safe and she's okay.
So I don't think a lot of people realize that the child in us is really running our lives. And if we can't manage that child, and first of all, you can't begin to manage a child that you don't acknowledge exists within you. Because no matter what, we all have something, right? Because things happened to us at an age where we couldn't process it, right? And how we process it didn't make sense. And so we act out. So I received that whole inner child thing and really taking care of her. What do you call? I call mine I think I've said this before, but I call mine Little Ton.
Oh, okay.
Right. I let her know that.
I haven't gotten that far yet. I don't think I've named her.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe I'm still in denial.
I have to just let her know, because sometimes she be just talking and carrying on and saying stuff, right? And I'll be like, look. Yes. Stay with me. Let's live in the present, right?
We're not doing that right now.
Exactly. So, it's very important to have that kind of self-awareness, to know that you constantly have to manage your trauma.
And I believe it's important in order for you to reach your purpose and your
Absolutely.
destiny.
Absolutely.
If you don't know exactly all the nuances of who you are, how are you going to walk into your purpose and and be passionate, and you'll be all over the place.
All over, and you can't serve other people if you know what I mean. And then they get your stuff splattered on them, right? So it's important to. I agree with you 100%. It's important to really recognize that part of you. I think that you've covered purpose, and I think that you've covered passion. So let's talk about prosperity. Like, what does that look like for you?
I really, one of the major issues that I've been working with my therapy is security.
Okay.
Because one of the ways I act out and my behavior doesn't support me feeling secure. And so I am just now getting to a place where I'm trying to be financially well and have some security with my finances. I believe your financial leads to prosperity in a sense that, I need to be able to support missions, or I need to be able to take care of myself if I'm talking about retirement. And so that is one arm of prosperity that I'm working on now. And I'm actually just in the last couple of weeks been working with a debt coach and those type of things to just be honest, like, okay, you have run wild in this area. You need to get it together. And I believe it's okay. That's the grace. I think that we need to extend ourselves instead of just keep on going and not stop and acknowledge, like, that hasn't been working for you. You need to do something different. And so prosperity is being, in a way, on one level, being someone who is financially secure and can take care of yourself. And I think prosperity in another way manifests itself in us spiritually, physically, emotionally, like all of the nuances of who we are should be prosperous. I think it's a scripture in the Bible that says, I wish above all things that you would be prosperous and be of good success. And so prosperity on those different levels, like what do they look like? I've also started going to the doctor to address the weight that I've gained since 2019. Being my sister passed away in 2019. The relationship with the fiance ended in 2019. My home I had been in for 21 years and raised my kids in, I sold and downsized and moved into a 1-bedroom condo. Like, a lot of things started to happen in that transition year that I can see now. And then we went into COVID and remote working. And so just the emotional eating and buffeting my emotions in a way that was not prosperous to my physical body. And so being able to acknowledge that and say, okay, now I think I'm ready to address that. That's prosperity,
I received that,
And
yes.
so, I think spiritually as well too. What are the things that, people say, they want to be spiritual. Well, what are you doing that feeds your spirit? Are you doing anything that invokes spirituality in your life, or that nurtures or cultivates a life that is spiritual, so that even if all hell breaks out around you, at your core, you can have peace or have enough soundness of mind to make a decent decision, that it doesn't just like take you out because of what's going on around you. And so having some spiritual prosperity as well too, that, you can't pour out from an empty cup.
You definitely can't do that, right? You talked about a lot of things, dear. The first thing I want to ask is, from a spiritual point of view, do you think finances are spiritual?
I think money has spirits attached to them.
Okay.
But I think being a financial steward is a spiritual thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of being, because I heard you earlier talk about, you've been envisioning you speaking and doing all those things, right? And what I believe, and just help me in what, I'm just asking because I just want feedback. What I believe is that our prosperity is aligned with us accepting our gifts 100%. I believe that God is a creator. And because he's the creator, he created all of us in his image, right? And so therefore, anything that we do, that we're working in our gifts, and that we are creating something to help other people and serve your brothers and your sisters, then financial prosperity becomes just a byproduct. Oftentimes we spend so much of our time working for money instead of just living in service and watching the money flow to us.
Amen.
So my only question to you is do you think you have any financial blocks?
Well, I think maybe I had some financial
Okay.
blocks. I don't have them anymore.
Okay.
And so One of the things that I've looked at over this past couple of years is just like blessings of prosperity can be passed down to generational. What kind of maybe curses or what type of things maybe that my ancestors done in the past that could be blocking? What kind of patterns are there in my family of origin? And so I've been really looking at that and trying to mitigate those nuances around breaking generational curses and maybe learning in areas that we weren't necessarily taught. And then because of my own immaturity and some of the decisions I've made, I just had to suffer the consequences of my actions, of not being just disciplined
Right.
in areas. And so
I get it. 100%.
that lack of self-discipline is a block all, in and of itself. And so those are the things that I'm working on. And again, I just think the journey is you just continue in something. There's just saying, and I don't know who is the originator of this saying, but that all fruit does not ripen on a tree at the same time. What someone else look like they can do with ease and they get prosperity and it just happens so easily for them, it may not be the same thing for someone else. But can you be okay just keeping along your journey? Because maybe in my finances, I may not have the dollars in my account to match all of the money that's come through my hand because I haven't been a good financial steward or I didn't make the best decisions, but I've been so blessed in other areas where that could have taken somebody else out. And I believe when God can trust you, when you do prove that you are a good steward, and he can trust you with taking care of something, then to whom much is given, much is required. Much is required. And so I'm working to be that good steward, like even just now at 57, so that what is coming to me, I will be able to handle. And I won't let the little girl run wild or my emotions, cause me to just make decisions or choices that are not good in the long run.
I get that 100%. Prosperity is I think it has a lot of different meanings for a lot of different people. If you could have, you like anything in your life right now that you're not happy with, and you want to live in full prosperity, in your mind, what would that look like?
That's a good question. Difficult question. What would that look like? I guess that would look like me taking advantage of opportunities or creating opportunities where I believe my gifting is at its maximum use. I love speaking to people, ministering to people, preaching and praying. And so in some type of culture where I was ready and I wasn't rushing and trying to go ahead of God, but I was operating in that gifting, that would look like prosperity. I believe that the version of myself that is in a little better physical shape, that would be prosperity to me, and decreased debt and increased savings so that it takes money for ministry, so that I can go out and sow or do, or if I want to host a conference, I can seed all the money that I need to and not having to worry about paycheck to go and do the things I want to do. And so I think prosperity would just look like a little bit more manageability in all of the areas or nuances. That is me.
I got it. So I'll be looking for that in probably next year. I'm going to be looking for that from next year.
Okay.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about the audience, and because you do coaching, and so we making sure that all of our guests share their gifts with the audience. And so you said that you would do a 30-minute, an hour coaching for our audience.
Yeah, a free 30-minute coaching.
A free
for one
30-minute
person.
coach. Do you have any digital product that you would like to give away?
I did not bring it.
No, you don't have to bring it. No, I mean into the future. We'll make sure when
Oh, okay.
we will link it to this video, whatever it
okay.
is.
I may need your help to determine
Okay.
what that is.
I will
but-
help you.
Okay.
But I think